Hi, this is Jake Kerr and welcome back to Christian Biology. In this video, I'd like to talk about the creation of the Earth. So, I just skimmed through the creation of the Earth to make sure that I have everything in the right order again and stuff, and compared to biology notes and stuff. I use the CEB Catholic English Edition Bible. And that's the Bible I'll continue to be using. Like I said, I want to reach out to all Christians. This is a Bible that works the best with my reading devices, not being able to see. It's hard to find Bibles that actually are downloadable that read. For example, I've downloaded Bibles before that switch God to COD, so gotta be careful with. So this is gonna be the Bible I use, but I'm sure there's little variations between editions and Bible and stuff, but for the most part, the concepts will be relatively similar. So, in the Bible, it discusses the creation in 7 days. And in biology, creation and evolution happens over billions of years. So, a lot of the times, that's the first hang-up that people run into. Is the Bible says 7 days, or really 6 days, because on the seventh day God rests. So if everything was created in those 6 days before God rests, why does it equal several billion years in the fossil record? And I'll give several explanations. One explains how biology might be slightly inaccurate. However, with current techniques, there's no proof of this being inaccurate. But, I mean, especially with radio dating, radiocarbon dating stuff, everyone acts like it's an exact science, but it hasn't been around for too long. So, I mean, it's possible 100 years, 200 years, 300 years from now, we'll find that it wasn't going quite as far back as we thought it was with all of our dating techniques. But going off of, in these videos, I'm going to try going off of current data, because if you tell a biologist that, they're not going to really take much stock in that there and be like, well, current data proves or shows that you never prove anything in biology, but current data shows that this is as accurate as it can be. And maybe it is accurate, maybe it's not as accurate as we think, but suffice to say, with these videos, I'm going to assume that it's accurate, which leads to the second thing. 6 days. We picture a day to be from the time the sun rises to the time the sun sets. And really, in my edition of the Bible, it really makes it sound like that, because it says sun rises and sets the third day. Sun rises and sets the fourth day. And it kind of makes it sound like sun rises and sets. Scientifically, the Earth has spun at different speeds before. You don't have proof of being extremely long points, and plants would probably die out if the night was too long. So that there's not much scientific data to support, but it's possible the Earth is spinning at a different speed. It's also possible we put a human definition on a day, and really, what's a day to God? Is that a longer period of time? Are we still in the seventh day? I mean, we don't know for sure what a day is to God, which makes it difficult for saying that, I mean, all life was created in 7 days, because that's the number one argument that scientists use for creation is wrong. It's all evolution, because animals and plants do not appear like they evolved in 7 days. And so, as Christians, we do have to accept that 7 days to us might not be the 7 days to God. That's the easiest explanation for this difference connecting biology to Christianity. Like I said, it might not be accurate. And I can tell you there will be people that disagree with me, especially because like my edition of the Bible says the sun rose and set, so that sounds pretty obvious that it was a day. But as Christians, we also have to recognize that it's possible that even my translation is possible other translations say slightly different, but in my translation, some translations we might put a human spin on, and that sounds more poetic to say the sun rose and set the 7th day, or sun rose and set the 6th day, stuff like that. It's more of a pattern, but this pattern is actually one of the things that creates the most confusion in scientists and stuff. So that's one of those things that, like I said, something that really hard to answer. I've got several theories, and you can pick the one that you think makes the most sense, or come up with your own, because this is one of the ones that is a difficult question that I feel like a lot of students struggle with, and it's important to give some sort of answer. Like I said, most simplest is the day to God is not the same as the day to us, or maybe the Earth spun at different speeds, maybe a mixture, a little bit of both. Maybe machinery is slightly inaccurate. We don't know for sure right now, but those are 3 different explanations for it. Evolution of animals and plants and stuff is a lot easier to explain based off the Bible. So now everyone's heard the TV show The Big Bang Theory, and when I say the Big Bang Theory, I'm talking about the scientific Big Bang Theory, and how the Earth, or not really, but how space was unimaginably tiny and all of a sudden exploded outwards, and then over time, then the sun formed and drew dust towards it, which formed into all the planets circulating around the sun, and all this, and well, it sounds quite exciting, and honestly, the Bible actually kind of supports that concept. It doesn't say much about space. It does discuss formation of stars on the 4th day, I believe, which we have to realize that at the beginning of the Earth, there would have been some stars around, but those stars would have collapsed and new stars would have formed, and so stars are constantly dying, being born, creating new stars. So the fact of the matter is that God's in control of that. So, yes, probably stars were visible before that point, but God created around that time, perhaps even the whole, like a large chunk of the Milky Way galaxy that we're in, that would be our night sky and stuff. So, I mean, we have to realize that God created everything, but in the Bible, it might be referring to specifically things visible to us. The moon was formed after the Earth. The sun is the big thing that maybe will throw people off, because it says the sun is formed around the 4th day as well. However, but way back at the beginning, it says that he says, "Let there be light," and before the sky even formed, there's day and there's night. So that could have been the formation of the sun way back then, before the Earth formed even, and day 4 could have been referring to more like the concept of the Earth's spin creating the seasons that we have, and the Earth's spin creating more of the day-night patterns we see today now and stuff. Perhaps before that point, the beginnings of the Earth weren't spinning the way that we thought they were spinning, or the way they're spin today even. So the Bible it might appear to be very confusing here, but relatively simple explanation connecting with the spin of the Earth and stuff. A lot of this is not biological in this section, so it's scientific, really physics, and I never took a physics class, so I'll be honest. This part, I'm going to be slightly more murky on than some of the biological stuff as we get farther in. But I'm trying to give explanations, again, just based on my science background, that makes some sense, but I might be inaccurate again. You might have better theories if there are any Christian physics people out there. You might have better explanation than I do, but or space exploration people or anything like that. I don't know much about space, to be honest. The universe and stuff, I learned about it a long time ago, but again, my best explanations. So then the Earth start pulling together. Originally, it had been a lot of water, probably, and had to drawn dust particles together. Well, God said over the ocean, let the oceans draw away into certain areas so there's earth or land. So that when the dust is being drawn into the earth to create the land, I mean, it's definitely a high probability. It makes a lot of sense there. And then, now this is getting into the point where it makes more sense to me because it's biological more. Next day, God created plants and animals, or not animals, plants, all the plants of the earth and all that. Well, if we look back in the fossil record, first would it be bacteria appearing, which bacteria perhaps fall underneath the diagnose or connection of being a plant, the category of a plant, kind of, because a lot of them do photosynthesize. So a lot of them don't as well, but maybe there's several different types of bacteria form, and it's possible that we also skipped over a formation of bacteria being formed. But regardless, plants could refer to all photosynthetic organisms, which before that point we did have some bacteria stuff. The earth did not have oxygen, really, though. Oxygen, of course, as we know it, is very important for life today. So at this point, basically saying God created plants and bacteria and stuff. So basically what God did here is he created oxygen to continue on building on to what he's making. And food. Right now there's no animals eating food, but there is food on the earth. Of course, food has to come before animals. That matches with the evolution theory of evolution. Next, he talks about the fish in the sea and all the animals of the sea being created. And on that same day, birds are also created. But who knows how long a day is, like I said. Could have the ocean animals have been created in the morning, the birds in the evening. And what constitutes an ocean animal? Is it an animal that spends all its time in the ocean or sea, like a fish or a whale or a shark, or shellfish, all that kind of stuff? Or is it something that, like an amphibian that comes out of the water too? Because in the fossil record, it appears like fish appeared on the scene first, followed by amphibian life, followed by reptilian life, which gave rise, evolution-wise, to mammals and birds, and reptiles, of course. But with this concept, I mean, we don't have a full understanding of what God considered to be what. So animals of the sea, was that considered to be all cold-blooded animals? Animals that needed moisture to lay eggs, reptiles. Most reptiles can't just lay their eggs in a dry setting that has no moisture. Even birds need to have body humidity that keeps their eggs moisturized, but amphibians are even more, that their young cannot survive out water for a while, most of them. And these amount of amphibians have to live in water their entire life. So at this point, I think people, when they hear animals of the sea, they picture all the animals live in the ocean. But it could have connected with animals that basically were just connecting to the ocean, like connect to the ocean in some way, connect to the water in some way, which is a decent amount of all animals need water to survive, but decent amount of animals have some sort of life stage or connection to the water. Their eggs need water or whatever. So again, slight theories. You have to break it apart a little bit to see, but we're following along right in the path of evolution. We have fish, we have animals of the sea, some that might be coming out of the sea and going back in, and then by the end of the day we have birds, and the next day we have mammals coming in, which mammals evolutionary wise appeared maybe even before birds, but at that point it was kind of hard to tell because mixture between mammal and reptilian like characteristics. But again, at this point, God's creating a lot of new things. So many of these things have gone extinct. We're facing another mass extinction right now, possibly. So as Christians, we can definitely see how it happens, because sometimes things change and God adds more animals to the equation. If you ask a biologist via evolution, and really, I do believe that God created evolution to solely act upon things, because of course animals that don't survive cannot reproduce, so better genes are going to be passed on. So that makes sense that God created. And then now the next day God created all the animals of the earth, livestock, and animals and wild animals and all that, which makes sense again, because at this point we're moving forward more in evolution. Again, it might be another day that's 50 million years, 100 million years, 200 million years, we don't know. But again, at this point, now we have more familiar Earth, and in the fossil record, probably covered the dinosaur era, reptilian era possibly, dinosaur era. Now today, the mammalia era of mammals, and so right there we've just made the connection that we're moving forward farther and farther. Next day, God created humanity. And after it says this, it goes back and explains that God created Adam and Eve out of fertile soil, breathed life into them. But I want to focus for a second on the first words, God create humanity. We say the Bible, a lot of people say the Bible is about 10,000 years old. Earth, people say, is about 4.5 million years old. So people are like, how does that connect? Because the Bible only makes it sound like the Earth was created 10,000 years ago. Well, ironically, the sixth day, humanity, might coordinate very well with 10,000 years ago, when humanity was created. Because if you'd ask any anthropologist when humanity started, it would be a big debate. But many anthropologists might say it started right around the time of agricultural times. Agricultural times started about 10,000 years ago. So If we want to track the Bible, from Adam and Eve might have been the first farmers, and they might have been created by God to be the first farmers. Before that point, it was hunter gatherers, and there's other people. In fact, the Bible even mentions afterwards that Adam and Eve, when they're thrown out of the Garden of Eden, interbred with fallen angels and other humans outside the Garden of Eden. So it makes it sound like there's other humans on Earth originally, which is important to keep in mind for another video. I'll cover those other humans and those fallen angels and Neanderthals and all that in a separate video from this one. And I don't want to add too much on to this. This is just trying to explain the first 7 days. But so about 10,000 years ago would have been the beginning of humanity, which matches up pretty good with actually people's estimations of how old the Earth is with the Bible. So again, we have to keep in mind there are books in the Bible that are missing, so we could be way off on the estimation. It could be older than we think, just as anthropologists study and trying to figure out when agriculture first started and where. But really, agriculture could have first started when Adam and Eve were thrown out of the Garden of Eden, because that's when it first starts mentioning farming. And basically what we'd call humanity today. So, then, of course, on the seventh day, God rested. We might be still in theory on the seventh day, or we might be past the seventh day. Days might be slightly different lengths for God, depending on the day. Like I said, maybe the heavenly realm where God lives has sun not set very often, so, and maybe he's going off of heaven time or whatever. We really don't know for sure, but the honest truth of the matter is creation. If you tear it apart a little bit, and think about even in your day, you can be doing something in the morning and switch and be doing something completely different in the evening. So in the morning, I might be fishing, let's say, and by that evening, I might be a couple hours away visiting with friends. Who's to say that when we picture God creating something in a day, we picture him like, boom, and everything being there at the same time. But a day is a long time even for us, that you can do several different things in a day. For God, that could be a really long period of time that he could worked on the animals of the sea in the morning and had lunch and went back and worked on the birds in the sky and stuff in the evening. So, I mean, afternoon. So, keep in mind that it's not that he made everything at the exact same time, just boom, and everything's there. It might have been a full day, doing different tasks, doing different things. That it would be very complicated. Of course, there's many animals, so if they went through all of creation, explained how God created everything, like, at 6:31 a.m. God created a great white shark. At 6:31 and 5 seconds a.m. God created, well, we would have thousands and thousands of pages of what God created at what time. So we don't know for sure what time God created things at, and how long a period of time it would appear to us. That's an important thing to understand as well here. Again, these videos, people can always disagree with me, comment if you have another theory, or email me. But I think this is a pretty good explanation of creation in 7 days versus biological and physics and astronomy and astrophysics and all that kind of stuff. Why they explain it is being much, much longer and not connecting with our version very well at all. So thank you for watching. Like I said, my email is jt1kruger@gmail.com, all lowercase, jt1kruger@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Please share. Like I said, it's important to reach as many people as possible with these videos, because There are a lot of people that, some of these are faith breakers, I call them, that they stop believing because they can't find the answer to these. So thanks for watching, and see you all in the next video. Thank you.